On the big release day of the GoPro Hero 11 Black and the DJI Osmo Action 3, I made a video stating 12 reasons why I think you should get the DJI over the GoPro. Most of those reasons were related to technical specs and features that I thought made the DJI more usable and reliable. And to me, that's always been a weakness of GoPros. And I still think that that's more or less the case. I did make a video yesterday that I did take down just because I did think that the approach was largely misunderstood by some of you. I think it was 50-50. Half of you understood what we were trying to do with that video and the other half didn't. So for that reason, we're redoing this video to argue the points of why you might want to get a GoPro instead. Now, I still strongly think that when it comes to reliability, usability, DJI is the way to go. But that's not to say that GoPro doesn't have its own strengths. So in this video, I'm gonna hand the camera over to Martin, my partner. You don't see him too much on this channel, but he is one of the driving forces behind Gemini Connect, and he is strongly pro GoPro. So he's gonna give you those reasons why he thinks GoPro is the better camera. And just to be transparent, we bought both cameras. We'll be testing them out. This is not a definitive review of either camera. We're just stating the pros and cons of buying each camera.
First thing to mention is that we have been GoPro users since the release of the 7 when Hypersmooth came out, and we have been using the GoPro for filming the majority of our videos since then, and we have been upgrading it ever since. So we have used it and are pretty invested in it. You can see many videos on both of our channels made with GoPro and about GoPro. And so for me as a user, the question is, do I go to another brand because they've made a better camera, or do I stick with the GoPro and continue with what we have been using successfully? Here are the reasons why the GoPro has strengths over its competitors. And even though there are strengths for them as well, at this point it's not a clear-cut decision here, which is why a lot of people are curious what to do. The main thing of this release was the upgrade of the sensor to a bigger one, and overall the technical specs are the highest right now for action cameras. You have a higher resolution at 5K, and you have now this upgrade, hopefully being a bigger sensor, helps out with low light, which has been traditionally when GoPro becomes unusable pretty much, and you have to go to bigger sensors and bigger cameras. Together with that, we are seeing probably increased performance across the spectrum of frame rates and resolutions that the GoPro offers. So reason number one is, yeah, the better hardware is in a GoPro. The reason number two is that since we have used GoPro for a while, we have invested in many of these accessories, and this release did not change the body of the GoPro at all, and so every type of accessory that you have bought for the last one is currently able to be used. That includes things like batteries, the media mode, and the mounts, and everything else is applicable. And so for someone that has used the GoPro for a long time, you already have all these accessories and you are able to simply use them without having to worry about buying into another system and so on. The next thing is that the GoPro supports more of what are called the digital lenses, and those really are focal lengths, so you can shoot at things like 20mm, or for the other end of the spectrum it ends up being at something like a 40mm, I think was the intent of narrow. However, now they've removed narrow, we just found out, so it goes to the linear, and then it has horizon locks and stuff like that. So the new HyperView lenses that they have offered, digital lenses, are something actually quite similar to what you used to get from the wide lens mode that they used to sell for the older GoPros, but it really looks like in this release you don't even have to do that anymore, and the camera itself supports what you would get out of that mode. So in a way it's a saving if you've never bought the mode, and you simply can do what it used to do. So if you're using it for some sort of movie making or even just action, you'll get more looks or more focal lengths out of your GoPro. The next reason for using a GoPro is really one of the strongest reasons for using it. It has the best in industry video stabilization that they call Hypersmooth, and that came out at GoPro 7, and every single version they have managed to produce a camera with even better stability. At this point it's up to Hypersmooth 5, and it has a new feature called auto boost, and that one actually determines on its own which one is the better kind of stability, how hardcore they should stabilize, how much to crop in and stuff like that. That's a really hard feature to test, so we've only had the camera for a day and we haven't fully tested that yet. But the stability itself, which we saw in our test footage, really did look phenomenal. It looked like the best one of all that we've ever seen when it comes to camera stabilization. Another thing that they're offering with this release is the GoPro subscription, which now also features cloud backup, and that is really huge. If you're taking a lot of video, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of megabytes or even terabytes, and you produce a lot of media, it's actually quite bad if you start losing footage. So a cloud backup is something that you really can gain and benefit from. And now if you get it from your GoPro subscription, it also gives you the $100 off when you're upgrading. So as a GoPro user, you subscribe, you can always upgrade your camera for a lesser price, and you can back up your footage for free, which typically is actually a pretty highly expensive service to do that. So it's becoming kind of like a nice package. I also think your accessories are cheaper and things like that when you have a subscription. So as a GoPro user, that is something to keep you using a GoPro. The next reason for choosing the GoPro for me, and that really is the main reason, is the look. And here I come from the perspective of having all the GoPros since the 7, and also having around 6 DJI cameras, the original Pocket, we have the Action, we had the Action 2 for a bit, we also have tried the Pocket 2, and we have had 2 drones by DJI. So we have had 6-7 cameras by them, and also many by GoPro. Every time in that case that I have seen the footage, in the end I have thought GoPro has the better footage, and it has to do with the look, and it has to do also that we use it to film ourselves and other people, so the GoPro ends up looking better for people, but to me also the environment around you looks more vibrant, more glossy, and so on. So we have not yet tested the DJI Action 3 itself, because it's not shipping until October, but based on previous experience, I would stick with GoPro for the look itself. And if I was the consumer, I would not anymore be so interested in DJI when it comes to shooting myself. And in the end of the day, when you're making media, at least to me as a user, it is about how your media looks. Other competitors have advantages when it comes to usability, reliability, and we have made many videos about the shortcomings of GoPro and those. But if you in the end are concerned about how your media looks the most, then sticking with GoPro actually makes sense. And the last reason I want to mention in this video is that if you were to go with the GoPro or buy a GoPro, you are buying the original, and it's still so. And there are competitors who are trying to do what GoPro is doing now. They are doing certain things better, but if you are buying into the GoPro, you're still buying the original. You're supporting whoever invented this technology, and in some areas still has a leg up, and not someone who is making the exact same looking camera with the same features and trying to one-up them, or trying to release 1 hour ahead of them and things like that. So if that is your concern about supporting the originator of something who made this, and there's a culture around it and a community around it, then yes, GoPro once again is the choice for you. So these are the strengths of the GoPro release. This is not a full review, and we are yet to test the camera itself and all the competition, but as someone who has used it a long time, seeing a new version come out, these are the thoughts that makes me want to buy it.